Jeff again here, and I want to kind of dig down a little bit into the one I mentioned a little bit earlier, the video on like comparing quality of service to uh, other topics here. So, I mean, I worked in the quality of service area in telecom, and there you work on there you work on what quality of service is when you're discussing it is you got to deal with like the phone calls, is it dropping, is it the SMS is going through, are they getting blocked, all that kind of stuff. And so the telecom industry has a really a focus on quality of service called QoS. And so you're really concerned about that because what you end up, you want to actually credit the people to actually for the call drops they're getting and stuff because of the problems in the service of the antennas and all that and the internet bandwidth and all those things. You want to credit them the service because they're depending on the account you're playing for and all that. So the whole call is to keep your customers because the churn in the telecom industry, the customer churn is high. It has always been that way for 30 years. I mean, I've known all this. I remember in MCI and stuff, they'd be, sending me stuff in the one, hey, we want to get you. All the other ones want to take you off and all they want to take you away and pull you away. And so there's a high telephone churn in the telecom industry for different accounts, right? Same thing with internet providers, just a high churn in this. So the whole thing is to keep the customers, right? Because it's easier to keep customers to try to get new customers. We already said that in Sales 101, right? Where I talked about. So how you do this is keeping the customers happy by helping them, not have problems, but then also helping them quality services to like credit them for things if there's call dropping or internet bandwidth problems and stuff. And the special accounts that have, they should be getting a really high account because they're paying a lot more money for it. So the whole thing of quality service is brought over to. I've looked at it this in the kind of the restaurant industry and stuff too. This is a very kind of similar thing where you I think about when I compare this to like where you go for meals, right? If you go to McDonald's, think about it. I mean, to a fast food restaurant, but I'll use McDonald's here for the thing just to make it simple. Um, If you go to McDonald's, what are you waiting for? What do you want? I've actually tested this at McDonald's. I've actually asked a bunch of kids, three different sets of people, um, actually here in France, and I've tested on several groups of people, where there's several of them, three, four, five, up to 10 people, and said, "What do you expect here when you're doing what do you expect? What's quality mean for you?" You know what they all say? Service, speed. It's not about the food. It's not about the food. No one at McDonald's that goes to McDonald's is actually wanting to go to McDonald's because of the food, because of the quality of the food. And the funny thing and what they do and then some of the customer kind of complaint thing when you can keep things at McDonald's, they say, we've got like in France they said that our meat is from France. It's the beef is the cows are they are raised in France. Who cares? Okay, really. That's not what people are really focused on, okay? Because the stuff's like not high quality food, right? The processing, it's all processed food, right? Or the way it's done, it's really cooked fast. What you want, what you really care about, what the people actually say they care about, what they say, sitting there in the seats, right? What they want. You can do this test. Just go to McDonald's and ask people, what do they expect from McDonald's? They expect, and what you expect is not the food. Though the customer service say, "What do you think about a food?" Right? It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Not applicable because it doesn't matter because it's not. It doesn't matter. What they're wanting is speed and accuracy. The speed is, did it take too long to get? Because this is a fast food place, right? How long did it take to get me? If it takes 10 minutes to get you a coffee because you order on a coffee, then the service is really sucks, right? If it's only coffee, and I've had that actually happen. I don't make a big deal about it because I'm not really stressed out to get the coffee, right? I say it's okay, no big deal. But some people are going to be stressed because they got to get to work, right? They got to get going somewhere. So they're stressed in their car and they got to get there. So they want to be fast, especially if it's takeaway. It's takeaway. Um, let's go to sit down. It's no big deal. Okay, no problem. Unless I'm going to take a train. If I got to catch a train at the train station, then I want to have the time because I got to be in that train, right? That's where I go to. That's why I go to McDonald's because the train's going to be there, and at the McDonald's at the train station, I can get it quickly, so-called quickly, right? So quality of service is speed, a combination of speed and precision, accuracy, right? What does accuracy mean? The sauces are the correct ones you ordered, right? You didn't get the wrong sauces, or you didn't get the wrong number of sauces, or you didn't get, they didn't mix up the ketchup and the mayonnaise or whatever the things are, ketchup and mustard or whatever, or they got the fork for the salad. They didn't forget the fork. Hey, one time I got a sundae that's got a hole on top of it. They didn't put the spoon in it, and I took the train. I didn't have a spoon to eat the sundae. What good does that do me to eat a sundae without a spoon? Do you see what I mean? That was kind of a pain. I think I actually had an extra one out of me. I was kind of lucky, okay? Because I kind of thought about this ahead of time just in case, in general. Um, but if I hadn't had that spoon, I would have had to wait until the end of the train line for that sundae to melt enough so I could drink the sundae, right? That's not good service. So I don't go, or we never go to McDonald's for the food. No, some of us go for our kids because it's a fun experience for the kids because they get the Happy Meal they get the book or get the toy, right? And it's fun to kids to go play at the gym, the little jungle gym stuff with all the stuff. It's actually going there for the kids' experience, so the kids can use up all their energy and burn themselves out, so that you can actually they go to sleep in the afternoon, so you kind of have a good evening where you don't have to be dealing with hyper kids, right? That's another reason to go to McDonald's. So if you don't have the gym or don't have that kind of stuff closed, that's a bad experience, right? Or if you didn't get the Happy Meal with the toy in it, that's a bad experience, right? But you're hoping that when the kid says they want to have an apple juice, they get the apple juice rather than get some other thing, right? Or that they asked for, like, they want to have the McNuggets and they ask for mustard sauce and they don't end up getting, like, ketchup, right? Or barbecue sauce or something like that. So that's what you ask for when you're doing for McDonald's. Those kind of fast food places, that's what you're expecting, especially when you're taking the drive out, your drive with takeaway, because you don't want to have to drive and come back again. Believe me, I have seen this. And I have seen people outraged in a parking lot, coming back with 2 sacks, park the car in the middle of the parking lot, come back just totally pissed off because they've counted the stuff, they've done the driveway, and they got to come back with 2 sacks and say, you didn't, and they were saying, 50% of my stuff is not there. That is not good quality service for McDonald's, right? It doesn't matter what the food quality is because people are expecting the French fries. They're going to kill us, right? McNuggets, so it's not real chicken, right? So it's what it is. And they all say, hey, French raised cow stuff. So what, right? Now in my town, there is, next to McDonald's, there is a Buffalo Grill. That's a steak place, right? So if I want to go for speed, I go to McDonald's, right? If I want to go for a steak and dinner with the baked potato, okay, and the nice green beans, I go to the steak place next door, which actually has the same price for the basic meal as the McDonald's does for their regular stuff, because they're competitive. But you get the server, you get a little salad with it, you get a couple little buns with it, kind of bread buns and kind of stuff, really cool. No, not that's hot baked buns. Get the service, get to pay the person, even get to pay the person a tip. You get to ask for the water. You get to ask for the other stuff. Sometimes you get even a glass of wine with it, right? So I get to choose my wine, right? I get to choose the type of coming I want to have with the steak. So I sometimes, in the Buffalo Grill place, I order the baked potato and the green beans, right? So I take 2 because it's like, get a variety, right? That's a really nice place. Then there's a place down the road. There's a Flunch, and Flunch is, I don't actually know what to call this place. The Buffalo Grill is like a chain steakhouse, and I can't remember in English. It's not going to matter. I'm just kind of explaining what these things are because everyone's got kind of individual places, and different places are going to have different things, anyways, right? And different different states or different regions are going to have all these different things of different things. But and then you're going to have there's one down the street which is Flunch. Flunch is a French place. It's kind of an all-you-can-eat. They have a set number of you pay at the front. It's kind of smorgasbord, but not Chinese, not Asian food. It's a smorgasbord, but it's more of a just a chain restaurant, and they've got a number of set menus, and they're going to have a range of type of menus, and they kind of do a little bit of variety. And what they have is you get the meat that's set, but you get all you can eat on the cooked vegetables. So cooked vegetables can be fries, or can be the potato tots. It can be the cooked vegetables. You can have mashed potatoes. You can have green beans. You can have pasta stuff. They have a bunch of these different things, right? In these dishes, and you can have all you can eat with that, right? That's a better quality McDonald's, but not quite as good quality as the Buffalo Grill place, right? But everybody thinks the quality service is we get there, and they're all thinking about this food at this place. And see, there's different levels of quality we're expecting, right? And so this is, of course, what they're expecting is the Flunch place is kind of it's not a fast food, but you do expect to be actually get through the cash register quickly, and then go sit down and have it, and you can eat as fast as you want, right? Or stay as long as you want. No big deal, because I've stayed at a place like that for the whole day doing videos like this, right? But and you're not gonna, but you don't have a server, okay? Well, I'm getting another one here. I'm gonna come back to another one here in this. The what you're doing is that you're gonna have people think it's the all you can eat part of it, right? And so you have no servers. You can't play tips. Like at McDonald's, you can't play tips, and at this place you can't play tips at lunch. But at the Buffalo Grill place, you can play tips, right? So that's where the service comes into place. That's where it really has a meaning if you want to put money into it, right? And so the whole thing here is, when you're doing this service part, is what are you expecting out of it? And then how much you're willing to pay for that, right? So, and that comes down to is what is quality of service, right? And this comes into when you're evaluating things, how good it is, right? So I'm gonna have a different expectation of each of the types of restaurants I go to, right? I'm gonna have these different expectations. Same thing in hotels. Okay, if I go to hotel chains, or individual hotels, traveling in business or with family and stuff. I go to certain places. If you go with family and stuff, we just want to get a 2 or 3 bedroom place, to 2 bedroom place to have 2 kids and stuff, and they get their own room, or if you all got to be in the same room, right? Or and do they have a toilet in the with the hotel room, or they have the toilet down the hall, right? And that everybody has the same one. So all these things come into play when you're determining quality of service and what you're expecting from the quality of service, and the amount you're paying for it, right? And this affects how you have to determine what your audience is and where you're doing this, and who the audience is, the major audience doing this. And when you go to a Formula One or a Core Hotels or stuff, but you're gonna get the hotel. You're gonna get the bathroom down the road, and you're gonna expect it's gonna be auto cleaned, right? Self cleaning. So it's gonna have that. You're gonna have to wait between the two so that it cleans itself and that. And you're gonna have you're gonna have they've got a machine that gives you the soap. And the soap is both the soap and the shampoo, same stuff, right? Whereas you go to some of the other places, the hotels, right, where you got little teeny soap, little things, and you got the little teeny kits and stuff, and every hotel you get a better service, right, and you pay a little bit more for each of the services. So this is where the whole quality of service comes into play, and when you're figuring this all out, and how you evaluate it in the end. And this is really important because, again, I'm going to challenge all of us to think, and I've actually asked a bunch of colleagues this too. So these are you're going to think it's what you want to avoid, or in these service places, what you want to avoid is just a bad experience, right? The bad experience. They all want to avoid a negative experience and a really negative experience. You want to avoid that. Just have a decent experience. Have a decent, okay, experience is great. That's fine. And I'll say that, I mean, what hotel in your entire lifetime, how many times do you recall going to a restaurant or going to a hotel? How many times do you recall going there and actually having a really good experience where you take a couple of business cards, or you take a photo, you take your phone out and you take a picture of the business cards or the thing or whatever, the brochure or whatever, and then you give them away to other people to tell them to go there because you really liked it, or put it on social media and say this is really, really good. I mean, how many times have you done that? I can remember on maybe one hand of my entire life how many hotels I've done this with. Okay. Same thing, restaurants. How many restaurants have you been to that it was so good, you wanted to leave a good tip, and you want to take the business cards and give them away? I can remember not even my hand. Okay, not even full time my hands. All my and living in France, too, right? But how many times on the other side? How many times do you remember the bad experiences and you tell your entire network? You tell everybody. You will tell everybody. You don't take the business card. You take a photo of the place. Take the photo and you spread it out in all the social media and you tell all of your friends never go there. Right? I can remember lots of those. I can actually remember specific experiences in the specific town, in the creperie, or in the town where the cheese called President Cheese is actually made. And my wife and my kids, we went there. It was like you could see chocolate stains on the walls and stuff, and like the person serving the food like had stains in their pants and stuff. And you're going, And went back to the bathroom. It's like, whoa, going back there is like, oh, do I want to go into the bathroom? Like, I don't want to go into this thing. It just scares me to death. You're worried about getting sick, right? So we were actually looking at the forks and the food, just wondering if we're going to actually eat with this thing, right? And we got little kids, right? And we're just going to wondering, do we want to chance this thing, right? Um, that you remember about. You tell everybody in the network, right? I can remember these experiences, Or I can remember the one down on the marina on one of the things when I had two little kids, and they were little kids. They were like 3 years old and 6 months old, and just could remember the bad experience. They don't bring the food for the kids or anything for the kids. And we're sitting there for 45 minutes waiting for just something to keep the kids happy, right? And they don't get any. They weren't getting. They're just total mess. I had to go tell people, bring something for the kids now to get going. It just keep that's what service is, right? These kinds of things you remember, bad experiences. I can remember just hotels where like bed bugs, right? Or you can remember these things and you tell everybody never go there, right? So the goal in quality, again, along these lines, is to avoid those negative experiences with the customers. And here I'm talking about food. I'm talking about hotels, which we kind of deal with on a regular basis. We eat. These are things we have to do every day. Language, not something we do every day. Well, language is something every day, but we don't evaluate language every day this way, right? But when we do evaluations, you want to avoid the negative experiences, right? Or the really laughable things of all those laughable Google Translate examples, right? The laughable ones. Same thing as the things with the bed bugs or the food that makes you sick or vomit. Hey, if you get sick off of going to a restaurant, and like the 2 or 3 I remember one place where my son and I actually both got sick the next day at the same time. They're within 15 minutes of time, and we're just like, yeah, thrown up. And both of us got hit with it. No doubt it was the food, right? That I never went back again. Just never went back to that place. And it's down the street from my place I live, right? My son refuses to go that place again, even though they've actually changed owners. But he never wanted to go back to that place again because he didn't want to get sick, right? So this kind of stuff you want to avoid. Again, avoid the bad and the ugly, and just allow the good and the kind of the maybe to stay there. Focus on those. And so these will help us go on to the next kind of things I'm going to talk about, evaluation criteria, assessments, and stuff, and how to do this. Again, this is we're trying to have a framework to how you do evaluation, and we need to use things in life that we actually do where we think about evaluations and assessments and things where food is kind of it's kind of an important thing, right? And then kind of by country, living in France is really important. The food's really important. There's less fast foods, but hey, even in America, in the United States, like you evaluate the different fast food places, they have different levels, right? Taco Bell is at the lower end of the fast food end, right? Because it's all $1 burritos, right? But well, at least when I last time I ate there was $1. Might be it might be expensive more now. Might be two. Okay, might be $2. But Wendy's is the top of the line fast food restaurant. Well, there's In-N-Out Burger too, okay, right? There's different levels depending, right? But the Wendy's, like the Wendy salads, like the all-you-can-eat Wendy's bar, right? That's the good thing. And the milkshakes at Wendy's are the things that you can put the spoon in and you can flip the shake over and it stays in there, right? That is a wonderful experience. You remember those things, right? Good fast food restaurants, right? So it's funny that in America, in the United States, we have different levels of fast food restaurants, right? So it's really funny. Whereas here in France, there aren't even enough of those things to actually compare them, right? But here can, if you're lucky, find a Kentucky Fried Chicken and finding a Burger King from one in the once in a while, because Burger King does better burgers than does McDonald's, right? But you can find a Burger King here, whereas like in the States, they're all over the place. Every single stop on a highway has all of the fast food restaurants, so everybody can kind of get what the food they want, right? So think about when you do this evaluation stuff, how would you take the same evaluation criteria that you're using for food and for hotels? And how do you apply this to language translation or whatever assessments and language technology assessments? That's the fun part of doing this thing, because it really does make a difference, and that helps you set the criteria. How do you do the other ones? How do you filter this out? How do you kind of go through that? And that's really the added value of doing an assessment here. And we're going to go into a little more depth of how I think I would do this, applying these kinds of things to doing language technology assessments. Okay, so let's go on to the next videos.